Clank Up Your Arsenal, the final game in the original trilogy. We don't talk about Deadlocked. This is it. This is the last Ratchet & Clank game in the marathon challenge, whatever the fuck it's called. Look, I'll be honest, I apologize if I'm going to come off a little bit of droning, kind of monotone. I don't know. You have to understand I'm a bit burned out at this point. I've gone through 43 games in the last 9.5 months. I mean, what the hell is this? October? We're like halfway through October at this point. I am running on fumes. I mean, more than ever before. But I managed to put myself in the shoes of the runaway Lombax. Is he runaway? I don't know. What do I think about this game? Well, here's the thing, right? The thing about Ratchet & Clank is that these games just get bigger and crazier as they go along on the PS2. By Up Your Arsenal, they had expanded into multiplayer. In the production of the game, they had like a dual-layer DVD to get everything fitted on this game, which inevitably caused problems down the line when they produced the HD collection on PS3 because it was extremely difficult to get everything working properly. So I played this as the original PS2 version, which I had never played before. I think I mentioned that back in the Going Commando review earlier this year. What do I think? I mean, we'll get around all the BS. What do I actually think about this game? Well, it's definitely a lot of fun. It's definitely the most action-packed of the original trilogy. It pretty much never slows down. It never stops. It is constantly throwing waves of enemies at you. It's not that there isn't puzzle solving. It's just that it's so much more focused on action than either of the previous two games, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It definitely kind of builds to a big crescendo. Story-wise, I think it's probably the best of the original trilogy. I think it does the most with the characters. Captain Quark has an incredible story arc that kind of finally comes full circle, and Nefarious, Dr. Nefarious is the villain. I mean, absolutely kills it. He's definitely the best Ratchet & Clank villain, I think, by far. I really like this game, and I think it offers a lot in terms of focusing on the action. The weapons are good. It feels like I don't know if there are. I haven't actually looked it up, but it feels like there's not as many weapons in this one, although they do offer, if you have save file from the previous game, you can get weapons for free from that game, which was also something they kind of did in the second game, which is cool. I like the idea that you can bring in weapons from the last games, especially for free if you have a save file, which is awesome as well. Overall, the thing is, this game, it's tough because I played so many fucking games in a row this year, and so it all kind of starts to blend together. And I definitely the thing on my mind right now is the final boss fight, which I'm not going to spoil anything other than to simply say, fuck you, because the final boss is one of those bosses where you have to beat it in waves. It's there's 3 different sections of the boss fight, and you have to do it all in one run, which is fucking brutal. I mean, it's a hell of a boss fight. You have to come in. It's it's so funny because it feels like you build up all this time and you take all these weapons and you level them up and you make sure, I got to make sure I have all the weapons I need for this fight, and then in the end it's still not enough. It's you're just constantly getting bombarded. You're constantly getting attacked. It's brutal. That fight is fucking brutal. But you push through, you make it through, and I don't even know, man. I feel like I'm out of things. I don't even have anything to say about this game, even though I absolutely love it. It's definitely my favorite of the original trilogy. I mean, I've kind of grown an appreciation for the first game. It's almost weirdly enough, it's extremely similar to how I felt about Spyro. I used to absolutely despise the first Spyro game. Was a huge fan of 2 and 3. I always kind of juggled in my mind which one I liked more. And I felt the same way about Ratchet & Clank when I initially played these games. I thought the first game was janky. It wasn't really well thought out. I felt like a lot of the things were kind of just happy slap thrown around. But with 2 and 3, with Going Commando and Up Your Arsenal, I felt they really kind of perfected the formula. But ironically now, as time goes on, I've played these games again. It's man, I really appreciate the simplicity of the first game. The fact that the first game kind of offers a mix of platforming, puzzling, and action, whereas as the games go on, especially by Up Your Arsenal, it's almost entirely action. There's a little bit of platforming, there's a little bit of puzzle solving, but 99% of what you're going to be doing is shooting and trying to survive, which, is fun, but it's not exactly what I'm looking for. And I think as the games go on, they kind of start to mix it up again. But in the end, I like Up Your Arsenal. I think if there was a game that really, when you're looking at the gameplay, you think okay, that's Ratchet & Clank, I would assume it's probably Up Your Arsenal. That seems to be what most people's favorite game in the series is, or at least in the top 3. I like it. It's fun. It was a good time. I'm rambling at this point. I know. I'm dying here. We're 43 games in. We got 7 more to go. Oh God. Wish me luck, and we'll see you next time. I love you, Ratchet.